What does it mean to see? Seeing is an amazing thing. You can see many different colors and shapes and beautiful things in this world. But what exactly does it mean to see? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the word see is defined as to perceive by the eye. But is that the only definition? Let's take a look at some textual evidence to see what other kinds of definitions this word can have. In Oedipus the King, Part 1, Paragraph 20, the priest says to Oedipus, "Your eyes see the truth. Thebes is drowning in a deadly sea, is sinking beneath the waves of death." His eyes cannot physically see truth, but he can imagine it and knows it. This isn't the typical definition people think of when they hear the word see. Normally, people think of physically seeing things, but this definition is seeing it mentally and knowing something. Also in Part 1, line 270, Oedipus says, "Though your eyes cannot see, you know of this plague that infects our city." This quote has the same connotation as the last quote, where Oedipus cannot physically see the plague, but he knows it is coming. In The Blind Seer of Ambon by W.S. Merwin, lines 49 to 51 state, "I remember the colors in their lives. Everything takes me by surprise. It is all awake in the darkness." He could see everything in his mind by remembering what it looked like even though he is blind. He can't physically see anything with his eyes, but he remembers them and pictures them in his eyes. The book An Invisible Thread by Laura Scroff is about a busy sales executive who meets an 11-year-old panhandler and changes his life for the better. Between feeding him and buying him clothes and taking him to her sister's nice house, she is making his life so much better coming from a family who utilizes drugs. The reader can see that she is changing his life in the story, but she can't yet. She toys back and forth with the idea of whether she is helping him or not. While she can't physically see what she is doing for him or see if she is helping him, in the end she will. So now that you know more about the word seeing, let's see if some textual evidence we have lines up with some definitions. To form a mental picture of is one definition. In The Blind Seer of Ambon, he paints a mental picture of what he used to be able to see when he wasn't blind. Another definition is to make sure. We haven't talked about this definition yet. It means to see that it is taken care of. An example sentence would be, "See that this gets cleaned." According to the definition, this sentence means make sure this gets cleaned. The definition to imagine as a possibility correlates to the evidence in Oedipus the King. Oedipus can imagine the plague and see it as a possibility, and he can imagine that Thebes is drowning in a deadly sea. You can physically see things, mentally see things, and imagine things or have an intuition that they will happen.